The HS Defiant hung in the darkness of space, its sleek hull reflecting the distant starlight. This experimental vessel represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a warship unlike any other in the galaxy. Captain Jun Park stood on the bridge, his expression grave. Earth's position in galactic politics was precarious at best. Humans were seen as upstarts, newcomers to interstellar travel, often dismissed by older species who had traversed the stars for millennia. "Captain, incoming transmission," said Lieutenant Hannah Kim, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's a distress call from Colony Horizon." Park's jaw tightened. "Put it through." The message was fragmented, distorted by interference, but the terror in the colonial governor's voice was unmistakable. The Kadrax Armada had appeared without warning. Hundreds of warships now surrounded the colony. Admiral Song's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Park, you understand what I'm asking. Horizon is 4 days from our nearest battle group. The Defiant is the only ship that can reach them in time. 1 ship against an armada, sir." "The Defiant isn't just any ship, Captain. It's our only chance." Park nodded. "We won't let them fall." As the transmission ended, silence fell across the bridge. Every crew member knew what this mission meant. They might not return. "Set course for Colony Horizon," Park ordered. "Maximum speed." The Defiant's engines hummed to life. The ship shot forward, stars blurring into streaks of light as they entered hyperspace. In his quarters, Park studied the colony's defenses. Horizon was a young settlement, home to 50,000 people. Their shield technology was basic, never meant to withstand a full military assault. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. Chief Engineer Jin entered, carrying a small device. "Captain, I've been working on something that might help us," Jin said. He placed the device on the desk. "It's a modification to our quantum phase cannon. It should let us hit multiple targets with 1 shot." Park looked up. "Is it tested?" "In simulations only," Jin admitted. "But the math works." Park nodded slowly. "Install it. We'll need every advantage." 2 days into their journey, Park called his senior officers to the briefing room. Tactical Officer Tai, Security Chief Yuma, Engineer Jin, and Lieutenant Kim gathered around the holographic table. "The Kadrax outnumber us at least 200 to 1, Park began. "We can't beat them in a conventional fight." He activated the hologram, showing Colony Horizon and the enemy fleet. "But we don't need to destroy their entire fleet. We just need to make them think the cost of taking the colony is too high." "A bluff?" Yuma asked. "No," Park replied. "We will hurt them, but strategically. The Defiant's adaptive shields can absorb and learn from enemy weapons. Each hit makes us stronger against that weapon type." Tad leaned forward. "So we let them hit us, deliberately." "Within reason," Park said. "We'll use the colony's rings for cover, strike fast, then retreat. Make them chase us." Jin looked worried. "Captain, the ship wasn't designed for extended combat. The power systems." "Will hold," Park finished firmly. "They have to." As the meeting ended, Kim stayed behind. "Captain, may I speak freely?" Park nodded. "The crew is scared," she said. "But they trust you. We all do." Park looked out the viewport at the streaking stars. "I'm scared too, Hannah. But fear keeps us sharp." On the 3rd day, the ship's AI detected an anomaly in the hyperspace corridor. "Captain, something's wrong," the navigation officer reported. "The route ahead is unstable." Park frowned. "Can we go around it?" "That would add 10 hours to our journey." "Colony Horizon doesn't have 10 hours. Proceed as planned," Park ordered. The Defiant shuddered as it entered the disturbance. Alarms blared across the bridge. "Hull integrity at 89%, reported Ta. 77%, 65%. "Divert power from non-essential systems to the shields," Park commanded. Engineer Jin's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, the experimental drive is overheating. If it fails, we'll be stranded." Park gripped his chair. Hold course. The ship jolted violently. For a moment, the lights flickered out. Then, suddenly, they cleared the disturbance. Damage report, Park called. Multiple systems damage, Jin replied. But we're still flying. Park stood up. How long until we reach horizon? 8 hours, Captain. Park looked around at his crew's tired faces. Get some rest. All of you. The real fight begins when we arrive. In his quarters, Park recorded a message for his family. He knew the odds of returning were slim. As he finished, his personal tablet lit up with a notification. It was a file from Earth Command, marked classified. Park opened it and read quickly, his expression darkening. Now he understood why the Kadrax had targeted this particular colony. Beneath Horizon's surface lay an ancient alien artifact, potentially a weapon of immense power. The colonists had no idea it was there. Earth had kept it secret, even from him until now. This wasn't just about saving 50,000 lives. It was about keeping that power from falling into Kadrax's hands. As the Defiant approached Horizon, Park gathered his resolve. One ship against an armada seemed impossible, but the Defiant was humanity's most advanced vessel, and his crew was the best in the fleet. Captain, we're about to exit hyperspace, announced Kim. Park straightened his uniform. Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. The star line shortened as the Defiant dropped back into normal space. Immediately, the sensors lit up with hundreds of enemy signatures surrounding the colony world. They've spotted us, Tay reported. 3 ships breaking formation, heading our way. Park took a deep breath. Let's show them what one human ship can do. The Defiant dropped out of hyperdrive at the edge of the Horizon system. Park felt his stomach sink at the sight before him. Over 200 enemy vessels surrounded the colony world, their formations tight and disciplined. Status of colony shields? Park asked. Failing, sir, responded Tactical Officer Dudley. They'll collapse within 3 hours. Park studied the tactical display. The Defiant wasn't built for a direct fight against these numbers. But we don't need to destroy them all, just make them retreat. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare the quantum phase arrays. Let's show them what this ship can do. The Defiant slipped between the massive planetary rings, using the debris as cover. 3 Kadrax scout ships moved to investigate, clearly expecting an easy kill. They're scanning us, sir, said Kim. They don't recognize our configuration. Park smiled. Good. Let them underestimate us. When the scouts came within range, the Defiant struck. Its advanced weapons tore through the enemy shields as if they weren't there. The remaining scouts retreated in confusion. They'll be back, said Park, and in greater numbers. The bridge crew worked quickly, checking systems and preparing for the next encounter. Through the view screen, Park watched the colony world. Lights flickered across its surface as the shields struggled to hold. Sir, I'm detecting movement from the main fleet, Lee said. 10 warships breaking formation. They're coming for us. Park nodded. Just as expected. Helm, take us deeper into the rings. Engineering, status on Jin's weapon modification. Online but untested, Captain, came the reply. It will have to do. Park turned to his crew. Remember our training. The Defiant can absorb and adapt to enemy weapons. Each hit makes us stronger, but we need to survive the first volley. The ship moved swiftly through the planetary rings, ice and rock debris, providing both cover and hazard. The Kadrax ships followed, their larger size making navigation more difficult. They're firing. Lee called out. The first barrage hit the Defiant's shields, making the ship shudder. Shield status, Park demanded. Holding at 82%, Lee responded. The computer is analyzing their weapon signature. Park watched the tactical display. There's a gap in the debris field ahead. They'll have a clear shot at us. Helm, full stop when we reach it. Full stop, sir. The pilot looked confused. Trust me, Park said firmly. As the Defiant reached the clearing, it suddenly stopped. The pursuing Kadrax ships, unable to react quickly enough, overshot their target. "Now," Park ordered, "hit the lead ship." The quantum phase arrays fired, the modified beam striking the lead enemy vessel before splitting into smaller beams that damaged two others. "Jin's modification works," Lee exclaimed. The Kadrax ships turned clumsily, trying to regroup. The Defiant was already moving, weaving through the debris. "Sir, we've got their attention," Kim said. "Long-range sensors show more ships breaking from the main fleet." Park nodded. "Good. The more that chase us, the fewer attacking the colony." For the next hour, the Defiant played a deadly game of hide and seek through the ring system. Each engagement followed the same pattern. Let the Kadrax fire first, analyze their weapons, then strike back with targeted precision. After the fourth such exchange, Engineer Jin called the bridge. "Captain, our shield adaptation is working too well." "Explain," Park demanded. A massive explosion rocked the ship, sending crew members sprawling. "Direct hit to our port side," Lee shouted. "They flanked us." Park grabbed his console for support. "Damage report. Port shield generator offline. Hull breach on deck 3. Emergency containment holding." "Get us out of here," Park ordered. "Full thrust, any direction." The Defiant shot forward, trailing debris and venting atmosphere from its wounded side. 20 Kadrax vessels in pursuit, Kim reported. "And sir, the main fleet is moving toward the colony again." Park's mind raced. Their distraction was no longer working. The enemy commander had split his forces effectively. "New plan," he announced. "We need to make a statement they can't ignore." He pointed to a large Kadrax vessel on the tactical display. "That's their command ship. We're going after it." The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Sir," Lee said carefully, "that ship is at least 10 times our size." "Size isn't everything," Park replied. "What's the status of our adaptive shields?" "Back to 60% coverage. The computer has profiles for 8 of their weapon types now." Park nodded. "Jin, I need maximum power to engines and weapons. Strip everything else if you have to." "Understood, Captain." The Defiant changed course, heading directly toward the heart of the Kadrax fleet. Enemy ships scrambled to intercept. "They've spotted us," Kim said. "Communications increasing across their fleet." "Good," Park said. "Let's make them nervous." As they approached the main fleet, the tactical situation grew dire. Weapons fire came from all directions, each hit weakening their shields further. "Shields at 42%, Lee reported. "We can't take much more of this." Park watched as they drew closer to the massive command ship. "We just need to get within range. Prepare all weapons. Target their bridge section." The Defiant rolled and pitched, evading the worst of the enemy fire. The command ship loomed larger in their view screen, its weapons batteries tracking them. "Now," Park ordered. Every weapon on the Defiant fired simultaneously, the combined energy beam focusing on a single point on the command ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, explosions blossomed across the target area. "Direct hit," Lee shouted. "Their command section is severely damaged." Throughout the enemy fleet, ships hesitated, their formation breaking as they lost central coordination. "All power to engines," Park ordered. "Get us back to the colony while they're confused." As the Defiant sped away, Park watched the enemy fleet on the tactical display. Some ships continued pursuit, but many remained clustered around their damaged command vessel. "Sir," Kim said with a note of wonder in her voice, "I think we hurt them." Park allowed himself a small smile. Phase 1 complete. Now for Phase 2. Supreme Commander Tal of the Kadrax forces watched the tactical display with growing rage. "One human ship, one, and you couldn't destroy it." He snarled at his subordinate. "It moves unlike anything we've encountered," the officer replied. "Its weapons penetrate our shields as if." "I don't want excuses. I want that ship destroyed. They must not discover what lies beneath the colony." Aboard the Defiant, Engineer Ji-woo chewed her lip as she studied the ship's systems. Captain, the AI defense matrix is evolving. It's learning their attack patterns, adapting our countermeasures automatically. Park nodded. That's what it was designed to do. How long before? The ship rocked violently as a barrage of enemy fire found its mark. Alarms blared across the bridge. Main drive damage. Ji-woo shouted. We're routing power, but we're at 60% capacity. Park studied the enemy formation, a memory from his academy days surfacing. There's a way, he murmured. If we can't overpower them, we'll use their numbers against them. The bridge fell silent as everyone turned to look at their captain. His eyes were fixed on the tactical display, where hundreds of enemy ships moved in formation. Sir, Lieutenant Kim asked quietly. Park pointed to the display. Their fleet moves as one unit. That's their strength, but it can also be their weakness. He zoomed in on a section of the enemy formation. Look at their positioning. Each ship maintains an exact distance from the others. Their formations are mathematical. Perfect. Too perfect, Tactical Officer Lee said, understanding dawning on his face. Park nodded. Exactly. Ji-woo, can you get me more power to the engines? The engineer frowned. Maybe 75% if I bypass the safety protocols. Do it, Park ordered. And prep the quantum phase arrays for rapid sequential firing. The Cadrax are using different weapon configurations each time. They're testing us, learning our capabilities. Park frowned. They're more adaptable than intelligence suggested. As Ji-woo hurried back to engineering, Park turned to the rest of his crew. The Cadrax fight like machines. Precise, coordinated, but inflexible. He manipulated the tactical display, showing a new flight path. We'll cut through their formation here, where their ships are most densely packed. Lee looked concerned. Sir, that's suicide. Not if we time it right, Park replied. Their ships are so close together, they can't fire without risking hitting each other. The Defiant limped away from the colony, appearing to retreat. Behind them, the Cadrax fleet gave chase, their formation tightening as they pursued what they perceived as wounded prey. In the enemy flagship, Commander Tal watched with satisfaction. The human vessel is damaged. Finish it quickly. His subordinate hesitated. Sir, they're heading toward the dust cloud. Our sensors will be compromised. It doesn't matter, Tal snapped. They have nowhere to run. Tighten the formation. I want the ship surrounded when it emerges. On the Defiant, Park watched as the enemy ships followed them into the dust cloud exactly as he had predicted. Engines to full power on my mark, he ordered. Weapons, prepare for pattern alpha. The dust cloud obscured both the Defiant and the pursuing fleet from each other. Park counted silently, watching the sensor readings. Now, he shouted. The Defiant's engines roared to life, pushing the ship to its limits. It shot forward, straight toward the heart of the enemy formation. They've spotted us, Kim called out. They're trying to adjust their formation. Too late, Park said grimly. Fire weapons. The quantum phase arrays fired in rapid succession, each blast targeting a different ship. The energy beams cut through the enemy vessels, but that wasn't Park's main objective. Hard to port, he ordered. The Defiant banked sharply, narrowly avoiding collision with a Cadrax cruiser. The enemy ship, trying to evade, crashed into one of its companions. Chaos erupted in the enemy formation. Ships collided as they tried to avoid each other and track the nimble human vessel that darted between them. It's working, Lee exclaimed. Park remained focused. Don't celebrate yet. Phase 2. He turned to communications. Broadcast on all frequencies. I want them to hear this. Park stood up, his voice steady as he addressed the enemy fleet. Cadrax forces, this is Captain Park of the HSS Defiant. Your formation is broken. Your ships are destroying each other. Withdraw now, or we will continue to tear your fleet apart from within. On the enemy flagship, Tal's face contorted with fury as he watched his perfect formation dissolve into chaos. "Ignore the humans' threats," he ordered. "All ships continue pursuit." But the damage was done. The Kadrax ships, designed to fight as a coordinated unit, struggled to operate independently. Their overlapping fields of fire now became a liability as ships hit their own allies. The Defiant weaved through the disorganized fleet, its weapons striking with surgical precision at key vessels. Each hit created more confusion, more collisions. "Engineering to bridge," Jiwu's voice came over the comm. "Captain, the drive can't take much more of this." "Just a little longer," Park replied. "We've almost broken them." A massive explosion blossomed in the heart of the enemy fleet as a Kadrax fuel carrier detonated. The shockwave damaged nearby ships, creating a chain reaction. In the enemy flagship, alarms blared as systems failed. Commander Tal stared in disbelief at the tactical display. "How?" he whispered. "How is one ship doing this?" His second-in-command approached cautiously. "Sir, we've lost 30% of our fleet. The artifact isn't worth this cost." Tal knew he was right. If he lost the entire fleet, his superiors would execute him. "Order the retreat," he said bitterly. "All ships, disengage and regroup at the rally point." On the Defiant, the crew watched in amazement as the enemy ships began to pull back. "They're retreating," Kim said in disbelief. "They're actually retreating." Park collapsed back into his chair, exhaustion finally catching up with him. "Status report." "Ships barely holding together, sir," Jiwu reported. "But we're alive." "And so is the colony," Lee added. Park looked at the tactical display, where the Kadrax fleet was moving away from horizon. "Send a message to the colony. Tell them they're safe." As the adrenaline faded, the reality of what they had accomplished began to sink in. One ship had faced an armada and emerged victorious. "I still can't believe it worked," Kim said quietly. Park smiled tiredly. Sometimes the smallest stone can start an avalanche. 3 days later, Earth reinforcements arrived to find the Defiant barely operational, drifting amid the debris of what had once been the mighty Kadrax armada. Captain Park stood in the medical bay, his arm in a sling as Admiral Song toured the damaged vessel. 237 enemy ships destroyed or disabled, the Admiral said, shaking his head in disbelief. "By one ship. It's unprecedented." "It was the ship, sir," Park said modestly. "The technology worked beyond our expectations." "It wasn't just the ship, Captain. It was the crew. Your tactics will be studied in academies across human space for generations." 6 months later, the Galactic Council convened. The Kadrax representative spoke with newfound respect as he addressed the human delegation. "We had mistaken humanity's youth for weakness," he admitted. "The Battle of Horizon has proven otherwise." In orbit around Earth, the refitted Defiant prepared for its next mission. Captain Park stood on the observation deck, watching as the first ships of the new Defiant-class vessels were unveiled. One ship had changed everything: humanity's place in the galaxy, the balance of power, the future of interstellar relations. One ship had shown what humans could accomplish when faced with impossible odds. One human warship had taken on a whole fleet. And one. The story of the Defiant spread across human colonies. Children played Battle of Horizon in schoolyards. Park found his face on military recruitment posters. He hated the attention but understood its importance. "You've become a symbol," Admiral Song told him during the ceremony where Park received the Star of Valor, humanity's highest military honor. Park looked out at the crowd. He saw Jiwoo, Lee, Kim, and the rest of his crew. Many still bore bandages from their injuries. "We all have," he replied. The Kadrax, once feared throughout the galaxy, now approached human ships with caution. Their old tactics, overwhelming force, and perfect formations were abandoned. They had learned a costly lesson. Earth's scientists studied the ancient artifact recovered from beneath colony horizon. It was not a weapon as first believed, but something far more valuable. A star map showing routes through space previously unknown, to any modern species. The Kadraks would have used this to outflank us in future conflicts. Admiral Song explained to Park. Your actions didn't just save one colony. You may have saved all of humanity. Park visited Colony Horizon 1 month after the battle. The people there treated him like a hero. Children followed him through the streets. Adults offered him gifts. He felt uncomfortable with their praise. I just did my duty, he told the colony governor. Sometimes duty makes heroes, the governor replied. At night, Park still dreamed of the battle. He saw enemy ships exploding. He heard the screams of his wounded crew. He felt the Defiant shuddering around him as it took hit after hit. He woke up sweating, wondering if he could have saved more lives. The burden of command, Admiral Song said when Park confessed these feelings. It never gets lighter. You just get stronger. The Defiant's experimental technology was now being installed on all human warships. The adaptive shields, the quantum phase arrays, the AI defense matrix, all had proven their worth. Humanity would never again be seen as an easy target. In the officers' bar at Earth Command, Park met with his senior crew. They drank and laughed and remembered their fallen comrades. They had been bonded by fire, forged into something stronger than friendship. To the Defiant, Park toasted, raising his glass. To the Defiant, they echoed. 3 years after the battle, Park stood on the bridge of a new ship, the HSS Horizon, named for the colony they had saved. It was larger than the Defiant, more powerful, but built on the same principles. Captain, all systems ready, Lieutenant Kim reported. She had been promoted but chose to serve under Park again. Engineer Jin, status? Park asked. Engines at full capacity, Captain, Jin replied. He now had a team of 20 engineers under his command. Tactical Officer Lee. Weapons hot, shields at maximum. Lee answered with a smile. Park nodded and sat in the captain's chair. Helm, set course for deep space. Let's see what's out there. As the Horizon left Earth orbit, Park thought about how much had changed. Humanity now had a seat on the Galactic Council. Other species sought alliance with them. The balance of power had shifted, all because one ship had refused to surrender against impossible odds. The legacy of the Defiant lived on, not just in the ships that followed her design, but in the spirit she represented. Humanity had proven itself. They were no longer seen as newcomers or upstarts, but as equals, perhaps even as leaders. Park gazed out at the stars, wondering what new challenges awaited them. Whatever came, humanity would face it with the same determination that had carried the Defiant through its greatest battle. One ship had changed everything. And now, the stars themselves seemed within reach.